On the edge of Ravenhill town stood a house no one visited anymore. Not because it was abandoned, but because it remembered. People believed the house listened. Its walls absorbed secrets, regrets, and screams. Once it learned your truth, it never let you leave the same. 20 years ago, a family disappeared inside that house. Tonight someone returned. Elena Cross received the letter on a foggy morning. There was no address and no sender. Only her name written in trembling ink. If you want to know the truth about your parents, come back to Ravenhill. The house is waiting. Her hands shook. Her parents were supposed to be dead. A gas leak. An accident. That was the story she had been told. But lies were always neat on the surface. Ravenhill looked smaller than Elena remembered. Quieter, like a town afraid to breathe. People stared at her and then quickly looked away. At the motel, the old clerk examined her ID for too long. "Cross," he whispered. "You shouldn't be here." "I grew up here," Elena replied. The man shook his head slowly. "No. You escaped." The house on Hollow Road waited at the edge of town. Its windows were cracked and ivy wrapped around its walls like veins. The front door was already open. Elena stepped inside. The door slammed shut behind her. The air smelled of dust and metal. The house felt empty, yet alive. That night, Elena heard whispers. Soft tapping inside the walls. A slow rhythm, like breathing. Then she heard her mother's voice. "Elena, don't trust the mirrors." She sat up in bed, her heart racing. Her parents were dead. At least, that was what she believed. The next morning, Elena found a locked door on the second floor. A door she had never been allowed to open as a child. Now it opened easily. Inside was a room covered completely in mirrors. Every wall reflected her, but none of the reflections were the same. One showed her younger, one older. One mirror showed her standing between her parents. Alive. Terrified. And behind her, in every reflection, stood a shadow. Watching. Elena rushed to the town records office the next day. Old files were missing. Pages had been torn out. Dates had been changed. But one police report remained untouched. Case Cross family. Bodies recovered, none. Status. Sealed by town council. Her parents had not died. They had vanished. At the edge of town, Elena found Jonah Reed, the former sheriff. He was drunk, broken, and afraid. "They made me lie," he whispered. "The house shows people what they hide." "What does it want?" Elena asked. "It feeds," Jonah said. "On guilt. On secrets. On truth." That night, the house showed Elena a memory she had buried. She was 8 years old, standing in the mirror room. Her parents were screaming, not at each other, but at her. "You must never come back," her father shouted. Her mother was crying. And Elena remembered something that terrified her. She remembered smiling. In the basement, Elena ripped up the floorboards. Beneath them were symbols carved into the wood. Circles, names, and dates covered the surface. One sentence was repeated again and again. "The house chooses one." Her name was carved deeper than the rest. The truth crashed into her mind all at once. The house had not chosen her family. Her family had brought her there. Elena was different. She could feel thoughts. She could taste secrets. She could hear guilt in silence. The house sensed her power and bonded with her. Her parents realized the danger and tried to destroy the house. They failed. The house did not kill them. It absorbed them. Their voices were still inside its walls. The house spoke clearly now. "Stay. Feed me secrets. Protect Ravenhill." Its voice filled every room. Or leave, and let everything buried rise. Elena cried as memories flooded her mind. Every disappearance. Every lie. Every secret the town had hidden for years. The house needed a guardian. And it had already chosen. By morning, the fog lifted from Ravenhill. People felt lighter. Nightmares stopped. Whispers faded from their sleep. The house on Hollow Road stood silent once again. Alive in the mirror room. A woman stood watching the town through cracked glass. Her eyes were calm. Her smile was gentle. Elena Cross had not escaped Ravenhill. She had returned to where she belonged. Years later, a letter arrived for a young man in another town. There was no sender and no stamp. Only a message written in shaking ink. If you have secrets you cannot escape, the house is waiting.